Anthropic just copied one of OpenAI's best feature. Everyone on AI Twitter is talking about switching to Codex, and in this video I'm testing both to see which one is actually better. They're throwing free usage at us to win the AI coding war, and the feature you need to test while it's all free or with bumped limits is the /goal feature. Both companies shipped it in the last 2 weeks, and there's a guide on Twitter that just hit 500,000 views teaching people how to use it. So today I'm showing you exactly how /goal works, how to prompt to actually get the results you want, and we're gonna compare which one is better. The main problem is that without goal, you're essentially in this infinite loop where you prompt, then Claude works, and then Claude stops, and then you review, and then you have to prompt again, and you are the bottleneck of the whole project. Every turn requires you to give an input to continue. And with goal, that problem gets solved, because with goal, the agent keeps working until it reaches the final goal. You're completely removed from the loop, and Claude works until the condition is met. This feature works in the Codex CLI, Claude CLI, Hermes agent, and even in the Codex app now, but I highly recommend they use a CLI, and that's what we're gonna do today. Before I do anything, I'm doing the thing I always do when setting a goal, which is meta prompting. For you guys that don't know what that is, it's essentially where you have an LLM help you prompt the prompt for your goal. And the best way to do this is by using their documentation on best practices and guidelines for prompting. So essentially what I do every time is I Google the prompting best practices for Claude and also like the documentation for the goal feature. I did the same thing for the OpenAI. They have a few more documents, but we just have to copy all of this and give it to the LLM to help us write our prompt. These two prompt best practices guidelines actually just got released around 20 days ago. So if you're not familiar with the best practices, I highly recommend taking a look at this, but really you don't have to. You can just copy everything and give it to the LLM, which is what I'm gonna do right now. So let's copy this one, and copy the goal features documentation. Now I'm gonna do the same thing for the OpenAI, and you can tell they know people do this because they have the copy page button right here at the top to make it even easier for you. So all I'm gonna do now is give it a simple prompt to help me write the prompt for the goal feature. I'm gonna say, using this documentation, help me write a prompt for a /goal to run on the CLI to build a newsletter homepage for my YouTube channel, Mark Santos. The newsletter will have the latest AI news and tools. Make sure it follows the branding guidelines from my website, markstudios.com. Perfect. So now I'm going to copy the same thing to ChatGPT and let's have them run. OpenAI was a lot faster, and it gave me the full prompt here. Build a polished newsletter homepage for my YouTube channel. Create a high converting newsletter homepage. Gave it the context, primary objective, and it wrote at the end when it's actually done. This is super important for the goal feature, so it knows when to stop. By the way, Claude copied OpenAI's feature, but OpenAI did not invent the /goal feature. That was just their own take on the Ralph loop, which already had 19,000 stars on GitHub before they even released their own version. And this was actually made for Claude Code. They're all kind of taking inspiration from different places. Let's now see the results from Claude. So there you go. Claude's version is actually shorter than what ChatGPT gave us, but seems all right. It just didn't write at the end what the final check should be to make sure it's actually complete and it reached the goal. I wonder if that's going to make a difference in the results, but now it's time to open the CLI and run these prompts. I use iTerm for the terminal, and I always run tmux-cc when running Claude. And if I just type Claude-AI, I have it set up where it goes into the bypass permissions on automatically. You want to make sure you're running Claude with the max effort. So let's use /effort max to set it to the maximum capability. And now let's open a new tab. Just write Codex YOLO. And there you go. We've got both running here. Let me set them side by side. Let's copy each one of the prompts. I'm going to try to press enter at the same time so they run at exactly the same time. And we'll see which one is faster. Here we go. Testing. All right, so Claude is starting with the brand recon environment check. It found the font that I used somehow, and it seems like Codex found another one of my repos for my website, and is using that to grab the branding information. Let's check this prompt. I don't think OpenAI even included my website link in here. That's a big issue. Didn't understand my initial prompt, but let's see how it goes. Claude here found some colors that don't seem to be my brand colors, so that's another problem. problem. They both now have a plan put together. You can see right here that they're checking off this to-do list. So I'm gonna let them do their thing, and then we're gonna go over the result. All right, they just both finished. Claude took 13 minutes and 16 seconds, and Codex took 16 minutes and 13 seconds. It was the exact opposite minutes and seconds. Codex already has it live running on this URL, so let's check this out. Okay, so this is what Codex made. I really like it. Got the website design looking really close to what my actual website looks like, which is this right here, though it made it into a dark mode, and there are some issues with the contrast of the fonts here, but nothing that we can't fix with one more prompt. Overall, I think it looks good. Now let's see what Claude came up with. Seems like it's live on localhost 3000. There it is. Okay, so it got the color wrong. It made it into a green instead of blue, but I like the design. I think, you know, the header, personally prefer this because it really matched the style of my website. And I also just think it's a little bit more clean than this. This is really text heavy, and you know, some text here is kind of weirdly balanced. It has like a real techie vibe though, which I like. Had some hallucination generating some news articles, but it got the links right. For some reason it thinks I'm from Tampa. Probably pulled that up from the internet somewhere. I used to live in Tampa, but I think Codex really won on this one. Let's see what happens when we type my email. It says you're on the list. Let's see what happens if I type my email in this one. Also essentially the same. For my newsletter, I would push what Codex made just because it matches the style of my website more. I would just have to tell it to make the background white. You designed this in dark mode, which is the wrong branding style. Wow, guys, look at this. I was actually just checking my email, and the Codex one actually worked. I've received an email notification that someone signed up to my newsletter. I'm gonna be posting a new AI video every day, so subscribe. And YouTube's AI recommendation feature thinks you're gonna like this video next, so go watch it.